What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. Yes, I know this is a few hours after the game has actually ended, but still, we're going to react. We're going to show our excitement and, just glorify in this fantastic Flyers win over the Boston Bruins, a team that you have struggled to beat basically for the past so many years. Seriously, it's crazy how many times in a row you have lost to this team. I believe it was like, the past 7 games against Boston. This Flyers team has not been able to beat them. And you got yourself a crucial 2 points in the standings, which is huge, 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 huge. Because last night, the Washington Capitals, they beat the Carolina Hurricanes in a crazy game, finished in the shootout 7-6. So they got a 2 points on you in the standings. The Islanders freaking destroyed the Winnipeg Jets. No one was expecting that. So they gained 2 points on you. But hey, you got those 2 points back by beating up the Boston Bruins tonight. Even though I wouldn't say beating them up, you still beat them. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. You got the 2 points. It doesn't really matter what happens with the other teams as long as you get your 2 points. And that's what this team needs to consistently do over this backstretch of the season because, one, the gauntlet is basically almost over at this point. There is 2 more games left in this gauntlet. That is tomorrow evening against the Florida Panthers, and that'll be Tuesday night against the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden. So, yeah, coming down to the wire here. Basically, I believe we have 11 games left in the regular season so far for the NHL, and the playoffs are creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. It's going to basically be here before you know it. Seriously, opening day for Phillies is this Thursday. That's how fast everything is going by. So basically, we get the opening day, and then so long, so on and so forth. It'll be the end of the NHL regular season, and we're pushing for the Stanley Cup playoffs. And hopefully, the Flyers are a part of that tournament. Hopefully, they are a part of the playoffs. And if they just continue the way they're playing right now, in the past 3 games, they've got 5 of 6 points, which is very important. Beating the Toronto Maple Leafs, getting that point against the Carolina Hurricanes in the overtime, and getting the 2 points in regulation today against the Boston Bruins. That's going to help you, continuing going down the stretch. And hopefully this team is building some confidence because there's a lot of guys that are starting to step up now. Travis Konecny looks like he is finding his groove again after coming back from that injury. So he has 3 goals in his past 2 games, scores 2 goals tonight. One probably would have been the game winner if, another defensive breakdown didn't happen so many seconds after it. But thank the Lord for Tyson Foerster and his amazing wrist shot with, a minute and a half left in the game. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. When you think the play is just going to be a simple shot on net, when you just think, okay, maybe this goes in overtime, maybe the Flyers find a way to squeeze a point out of this, maybe they get an extra point if they win in the overtime / the shootout. No, Tyson Foerster wanted it to be won in regulation. No, Tyson Foerster went top shelf bar down, basically. Allmark did not have a chance on it. That's how beautiful this shot was. Tyson Foerster, 18th goal in the season. The dude just continues to amaze people. Just continues. I thought Sam Ersson had himself a pretty good game. Oh, what else? Scott Laughton almost scored in the breakaway in the dying seconds of the second period. Allmark robbed him with the glove. And overall, I thought you played a pretty good game. And I think, going back to last week's game in Boston, that crazy contest when it was 6-5, I think both teams came into today's game, wanted to be playing a little cleaner, not as sloppy. It was, for the first, over, I would say halfway through this entire game, it was very tight checking. It was very defensive heavy. Both goaltenders really didn't see that much. Nothing was really dangerous. Nothing was really generated. And both teams, I would say, played at a pretty even pace through, I would say, over half of this game. And then, some penalties happened here and there. Both teams managed to kill some penalties off. But the Flyers, they do get a power play in the dying minutes of the second period when I basically thought it was just going to be another Flyers power play where they really don't do anything because Travis Konecny, he made a dumb pass, which turned into Boston clearing the zone. And then, the Flyers bring the puck up, and they try to do something with the dying seconds of the power play. TK enters the zone, hands it off the paling, who then handed off, I believe it was to Scott Lawton. So both of these guys are basically entering the zone at the same time. And then he finds Tyson Foerster, who is wide open in the slot. He fans on the one-timer, and somehow this puck is perfectly placed on the stick of Travis Konecny, and he didn't even get over the shot. When he puts the shot on net, it goes off of Omar's blocker and pad and into the back of the net. So Omar even had to get a piece of this shot before he even went into the back of the net. But hey, sometimes those broken plays work. Sometimes the puck bounces in your favor. Sometimes you just got to get those dirty, greasy goals. And it resulted in a huge power play goal, put you up 1-0 going into the end of the second period. It would have been nice if Scotty scored that breakaway off of a brilliant play by Eric Johnson. He did a little, starfish that people are calling it on Twitter or something like that. Goes full spread on the ice to prevent a pass from happening, forces a turnover, and that springs Scott Lawton the other way. It was just Omar with that, huge glove save on the breakaway. And yeah, you go into the end of the period up 1-0, and you definitely had some chances. I thought the Flyers, to be honest, I thought they played a pretty good third period, just minus, a couple of defensive lapses. And I believe both of those defensive lapses were because of Yegor Zamula on the first Boston goal at the halfway point of the period. And, Zamula just forgets his man, and Boston manages to go into the zone, and Brazeau just drives the net and just gets Ersson, just hangs onto the puck when Ersson's going down, and he manages to tuck it behind him and ties the game up. And for basically, like I said, I still believe the Flyers controlled the pace. Boston did have some dangerous chances, and especially, if you're going back to the first period, there was a chance I was shocked that Boston didn't score on. It was David Pastrnak with a wide open net on a one-timer, and somehow this dude misses the net. So he missed the net a couple of times last week against the Flyers, and he missed the net a couple of times today. And I am just genuinely shocked because David Pastrnak is normally an automatic goal when he's playing the Philadelphia Flyers. So thankfully, David Pastrnak wasn't a part of that. And there was also, Brad Marchand being Brad Marchand, There definitely was a missed penalty on Eric Johnson on the knee-to-knee contact, but Marchand, the refs don't call it. Marchand goes ballistic on the bench, cursing out the refs and basically slamming his stick, breaking it on the bench, and they call him for an unsportsmanlike, even though nothing happens on that ensuing power play. The refs definitely did miss one there, I would say, on that knee-to-knee contact by Johnson. But, I'll accept it. I'll accept it. You never know. You never know. But Boston, they make it the 1-1 game. Both teams trade their chances of back and forth hockey, basically. And then the Morgan Frost line with Travis Konecny and Owen Tippett, who I believe has been a fantastic line in the past few games ever since Torts put those guys together. And, Flyers into the zone. Morgan Frost hands it off to Travis Konecny, coming up the left side, and he shoots it in between McAvoy's legs. And I guess Omar just didn't pick up this puck. Goes 5-hole into the net. Flyers take a 2-1 lead late in the third period. And you're thinking to yourselves, okay, let's just close this out. Okay, let's just close this out. Nope, Boston on a broken play. Yegor Zamula not stick tying up the player coming into the zone. I believe it was Morgan Geekie. Not tying his stick up. He just lets him go down to the corner on the boards. And somehow, some way, Geekie just desperation passed, finds a way to get Dayton Heinen wide open. One time it passed Ersson. He had no chance on this. And out of nowhere, like a minute later, the game is tied up at 2. And we're back to right where we started. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this game is definitely going to overtime. Flyers are going to get at least a point out of this, and it's probably going to be another very frustrating overtime shootout loss. That's most likely what is going to be the case at the end of the day. No, because Tyson Foerster, like I said, wanted this game over in regulation, and that's exactly what he did. I wasn't expecting anything to happen for this play, and Tyson Foerster just ripped it. Yeah, it probably did change direction off of the Boston player in front of Tyson Foerster. I think both of their sticks hit each other once Tyson shot this puck, but the puck was going in. The puck was going, and Olmark had no chance. He had no chance. It was just a perfectly placed shot right in that corner, that top corner of the net. Bar down. Brilliant. And the Flyers kill the rest of the game off. They get a nice, crucial 2 points in the standings after Washington and the Islanders both won. over the past 24 hours. Islanders this afternoon against the Jets, and the Capitals, who won that shootout against the Hurricanes last night. And the Capitals, I believe they do play tomorrow against the Winnipeg Jets, so we'll see if the Jets have any animosity in their play after getting embarrassed against the Islanders. And the Islanders, I do believe they play tomorrow as well. I believe that is against the New Jersey Devils. So their tough schedule still continues. Washington's tough schedule still continues. I believe for the Islanders, after this game, they have 3 days off or something like that. And then they go on their Florida road trip with the Panthers and the Lightning. So that's a very tough, 2 games for them there. And then for the Capitals, I believe they still play Carolina again. Their backstretch of their schedule is very tough. They play Boston, they play Tampa, they play Detroit, they play the Flyers mixed in there. So, some of these teams, they do have tough schedules upcoming. So the Flyers, they just need to take care of business, because after this gauntlet ends, they really don't play that many teams that are above 500 going down towards the rest of the season. They play Florida upcoming, Rangers upcoming. That's basically the end of the gauntlet. Then they play Montreal and Chicago in a row. Then they play the Islanders, who obviously they're fighting for that playoff spot. Then they play Buffalo. Then they play Columbus. And then I believe they mix in another game against the Rangers here and there. Same thing with Montreal. And then they close out the season, I believe, against the Devils and the Capitals at home. So, got to find a way to get those 2 points when you need to, when you can. And hopefully right now, with the way this Flyers team is playing, hopefully they do find that confidence. And Sean Couturier did get back into the lineup today. He was not going to be a healthy scratch 3 games in a row. And I thought he played pretty good. I definitely thought his line of Noah Cates and Oli Lixell, I thought those guys played pretty good. Lixell almost had a goal in this game. It was a perfect pass to a redirection with a wide open net, and Lixell just couldn't redirect the puck into the net. It just, basically hopped right off his stick and went to the backboards. So that definitely sucked in that aspect, because that was a crucial play in the third period, which probably could have put Boston out of the way in that game, because I believe it was 1-0 at that point when Lixell had that chance, and it could have been 2-0, and we don't know what happened in the rest of the point of the game. But, at the end of the day, you still got your 2 points. So I thought that line of Cates, Couturier, and Lixell were definitely pretty good. Coots definitely did spoke post-game after everything. He said he was still, frustrated with the entire situation, but it's all behind him. Him and Torts had this conversation. No hard feelings. He just basically wants to go back out there and help the team win. So at the end of the day, nothing burger. Basically became a nothing burger. That's all it is at the end of the day. Got your huge 2 points, man. That's all that matters. Because now after this game, you are 36, 26, and 9 with 71 games played, and there is 11 games left in the season. With the Washington Capitals, they have 77 points on the season. They're 4 points behind you with 2 games in hand. The Islanders, they are currently 6 points behind you with 1 game in hand. And the Devils, they're 9 points behind. They have, I believe, 1 game in hand as well. But we really don't have to worry about the Devils right now, unless they just go on an insane surge, which I don't expect them to. They're currently on a 2-game winning streak, but they're still the New Jersey Devils. They really don't have that good of goaltending. And that's basically it. Really, the only teams you really have to worry about are the Capitals and the Islanders, because right now the Detroit Red Wings, they're fighting for the wild card spot. And they're currently in the second wild card spot, 1 point ahead of Washington and 3 points ahead of the Islanders. And Washington and Detroit, I believe they play this week, so we'll definitely see what happens in that case. And then Tampa Bay looks like they're picking their game up, and that's basically it. That is basically it there. And in terms of the rest of the schedule, like I said, play Florida tomorrow. We're definitely going to have to wait and see what happens with that game, because Florida's playing tonight against the Rangers. And obviously, Florida, when they play tomorrow, it's definitely just a less than 24-hour stretch traveling to Philadelphia. So who knows? Maybe that could be benefited in the Flyers' favor. Florida has to travel in under 24 hours. Flyers, yeah, they're playing a back-to-back, but they're not doing any traveling, and they're over the 24-hour stretch. So that could definitely work into their benefit. And who knows? Does John Tortorella go with Ersson tomorrow, because Ersson, in technicality, not technicality, literally, he faced only 20 shots in this game, and I thought Ersson looked pretty sharp. I definitely thought he looked pretty sharp in this game. He made some huge saves. The 2 goals that Boston scored, he really just had no chance on. So, I thought he looked pretty good. And there's definitely a great chance that you don't face Bobrovsky tomorrow, because he's most likely playing against the Rangers tonight. And most likely you'll be facing Anthony Stolarz tomorrow. So, and also a Panthers team that's coming off of a very, tight travel schedule there. So that definitely could be a huge chance to grab 2 points against maybe a tired Panthers squad. So you definitely got to try to grab 2 points tomorrow because that could be very crucial. Very, very, very crucial, especially with the Caps and the Islanders playing tomorrow as well. That could be very huge in terms of the standings. So, got to grab points when you can. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line there. So, before we end this off, let's get to the voicemail line. We do have a voicemail for tonight's game. This is from Sean. If you ever want to leave a voicemail for the future, especially now that we're starting to get into the Phillies groove too, they start up this week, so we'll definitely have a pod previewing the season at some point this week, whether that's, Wednesday night, whether it's Tuesday or something like that. It'll probably be Wednesday night because tomorrow, Monday, there's nothing. Sunday, it'll be another Flyers recap. Tuesday, Flyers recap. Yeah, Wednesday probably slots in perfectly for a Phillies season preview. So we'll see what happens there with everything, because now Taiwan Walker's hurt. So definitely a lot of talking points there. But let's get to this call here from Sean. Let's see what he has to say about this huge Flyers win against Boston.
I don't think I'm overstating this when I say it.
You are not.
I'd say that's the biggest win of the year for the Philadelphia Flyers thus
Not an
far.
overstatement.
A team that has been their kryptonite. We're in the playoffs right now. I mean, every game is a playoff game. And to battle back after you give up the tying goal to make it 2-2 and get one at the end and hold on, great job by the Flyers. I thought of two things during this game. One, I know Tortorella says it a lot, and it came to fruition today. Not playing with the lead long enough. I mean, the Flyers get the second goal from Konecny, and bang, the Bruins come right back and tie it. That keeps happening more than it should. But I also remember what your friend Chris Mayer always says on his videos. This team always fights back, and they did it again today. Great job by the Flyers today. You hope they can find a way to get 2 more points tomorrow. But a win like this against a team like that has to give this team a high level of confidence. Good job, Flyers. Go orange and black.
Exactly. And for tomorrow's game, honestly, with what I was talking about with the Florida Panthers tonight, honestly, it does put the Flyers in a great position just because of the short travel schedule for Florida, and also that most likely Bob isn't playing tomorrow. I know Stolarz has had really good numbers this year for Florida, but still, Florida's coming in on a very short travel schedule, less than 24 hours. They're going to be tired, even though it's a very short plane ride from Philadelphia and New York, or who knows, maybe they take a train or something like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they flew in. But it's still a very, very short travel schedule. Games at 8 o'clock in New York, they're playing most likely until 10:30. They're not going to get out of the arena by until 11:30, 12 o'clock. That means they probably won't be getting into Philadelphia until very late in the morning. And they won't be falling asleep until very late in the morning. And then they play a game at 6 p.m. So, yeah, they're definitely going to be somewhat tired going into tomorrow. And, for the Flyers, their benefit, even though they're playing it back-to-back, they're not traveling. They get to sleep in their own beds. They play a game in over 24 hours. They played at 1 o'clock today. They're playing at 6 p.m. tomorrow. That's, over 24 hours, so that's a good rest period there. So definitely, I would say, an advantage Flyers. And the Flyers have beaten Florida twice this year. Even though it's not guaranteed, it's very hard to sweep a season series from a team. But I would say that tomorrow benefits the Flyers in terms of just everything that Florida's going through. But we still got to wait and see. We still got to wait and see how everything turns out. And in terms of that game playing right now, Florida's winning 1-0 over the Rangers halfway through the first period. Matthew Tkachuk with one of the goals. So, yeah, we'll see how everything transpires for the rest. Good to see TK get on the board again twice. 3 goals in the past 2 games. He's got 30 goals now in the season. Let's see him continue it, man. I want to see him continue this because coming back from the injury, definitely very lackluster. Hopefully, he's finding a way to get that confidence back. Because if you get a confident Travis Konecny with this offense, making the offense a little bit better, I could definitely see some more wins in the Flyers books. So, yeah, very excited for tomorrow. Very great win by the Fly guys. Let's see what happens. So, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Thanks, guys, for joining tonight. I'll see you next time.